These long dog days of summer, I mean, we just made it through a heat wave. Mama was parched through this heat wave. I was hitting up Dunkin' every single day, and I will continue to probably for the rest of my days, but especially this summer. Dunkin' is helping everyone stay cool this summer with its lineup of refreshers. These drinks are packed with bold, fruity flavors and served ice cold. It's amazing. Dunkin' refreshers are the perfect afternoon pick-me-up. I like to start my morning with them personally, and then sometimes I go back for a second one because I'm just feeling crazy. They come in a variety of delicious flavors, including fan favorites mango pineapple and strawberry dragon fruit. And then for a limited time, there's black cherry and there's pink pineapple. I'm going to tell you something right now, and it's a bold claim, let me tell you, but I stand behind it. Pink pineapple will change your life. It is so good. It has me feeling like I'm sitting in a pool, resort side, just living, honey. It's so yummy. Try your favorite flavor with green tea, sparkling water, lemonade, or Dunkin's all-new limeade. I haven't tried the limeade yet, but I'm going to. Usually I get my drinks made with green tea and occasionally lemonade, but I do really like the green tea. Or if you don't want to build your own, try one of Dunkin's curated refreshers like the Cherry Lime Ricky or the Ultimate Pink Daydream. The Cherry Lime Ricky, scrumptious. I could drink like 3 of these a day. They're so freaking yummy. Head to Dunkin' today and find your favorite refresher. Dunkin' refreshers contain less than 1% fruit juice. Limited time offer. You know what's really terrifying? That unfinished college degree lurking in the background, just sitting there waiting for you. That's where Southern New Hampshire University comes in. With flexible online degree programs, there's no commuting, no rigid schedule, and no more excuses. Plus, they have some of the lowest online tuition rates in the U.S. Visit snhu.edu/morbid to learn more before your degree becomes just another story about what could have been. Every good detective needs a partner to support them on important cases. Think of a State Farm agent like your sidekick, there to help you along the way in your search for coverage. State Farm can help you choose the coverage you need, whether it's for your home, car, boat, or even RV. With so many options, it's nice knowing you have help finding what fits for you so you can get back to solving all of life's bigger cases. Go to statefarm.com or use the award-winning app to connect with a local agent and get a quote. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Hey, weirdos, I'm Ash.
And I'm Elena.
And this is Morbid.
It's morbid.
It's like kind of morbid in the morning, but not like the morning.
It's like late morning.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like 10:30.
Yeah, you know. We're in the middle of a heat wave, but it's fall in my heart.
It's fall everywhere except outside.
Yep. We started decorating for Halloween yesterday.
I started and finished the other day. I had Hocus Pocus, The Corpse Bride, and what was the other movie that I had on in the background?
Halloween Town?
No, I didn't do Halloween Town yet.
Wow. Fake
Practical Magic.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, I'll do Halloween Town. I just haven't yet.
We did Hocus Pocus and Halloween Town while we were decorating yesterday, and we are still not done decorating because let me tell you, decorating with 3 kids and 2 dogs means that you don't decorate in one day.
Yeah, no.
You
Drew
just don't.
was out of the house, so I got to do it like all by myself. And I haven't done that in like a long time. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, you know.
It was lovely.
I hope you're all decorated for Halloween, everybody, because it's Halloween. It's spooky season.
Let's go, weirdos.
We're here. I'm ready for haunted houses. I have been waiting for this all summer. Fuck summer. If you love summer, that's fine for you. I fucking hate it. And the fact that we're in a heat wave right now when it is September and we're supposed to be in fall.
Yeah, I'm not enjoying that at all. In fact, it's like, are we just done after that? Like, does anybody know?
Nobody knows. We can't see that far out. You know?
I feel like we can.
Okay, you know.
Okay, next Wednesday, according to my weather app, is going to be 69.
See, that's what I'm looking for. Bring me to the 60s.
as soon as we're, because even 70, I'm like,
Even 70 can kind of go fuck itself.
70 could definitely go fuck itself because the sun is still hot when it's 70. And then you get like that nice like fall breeze that starts to come in. But if you find yourself in the wrong place outside
You're hot.
and the sun is on you, you're just like, fuck, that's not fallish.
Yeah, why am I wearing this chunky sweater?
Exactly.
But let's hope, everybody put their collective brain powers together to make fall appear for us. Please.
Wiggle your spirit fingers.
I'm requesting this of you.
My God, Thursday's gonna be 93 fucking degrees.
No, I don't want to do that.
I don't want to go to there.
I don't want to go to there.
Next week looks chiller, like 74, 72, 69.
Okay.
All right, so that's the weather with Ash and
That's
Elena.
the weather. Oh, before we start today's pretty, just like, bummer episode, because it's about a witch trial.
Okay.
But it's like when you go into witch trials, you always go in there being like, witches, fun. And then you go through and you're like, oh, this sucked.
Yeah,
like
because they
so
get
hard.
like persecuted as fuck.
Yeah. But I wanted to quickly shout out someone pretty awesome. A listener, Corey, who sent us this. First of all, Corey has an Etsy shop. Amazing crocheter.
So good.
Sent me a Papa doll.
I wish that you, Corey, could have seen Elena's eyeballs yeet out of her face when she opened this. And then I immediately said, are you going to sleep with that?
And
she
brought
said,
it.
maybe.
I brought it down to John and I was like, I'm going to put this on our bed. And he was like, please don't.
He was like,
that's
"No,
amazing,
you're
but
not."
please do not put that on our bed.
It's incredible.
It's sitting right next to me, like as we speak.
With all her other ghost
With all my
paraphernalia.
other ghost paraphernalia. And I'm telling you, like, Corey, this doll is fucking phenomenal.
He's so cute.
I'll definitely post a picture of it because it's just too good not to.
Oh,
and the care you put into it is, you're really talented.
The details too.
So I just wanted to shout out Corey's, like, all her shop places. They are all alternative hippie.
I love that.
And it's HIPPY.
Ah, nice.
Just so you know. So she has an Etsy shop, and it's etsy.com/shop/alternative hippie. Instagram.com, she's alternative hippie. All that good stuff. So
blow up her shit.
Go blow up her shit, because I'm telling you, I will post a picture of this doll and you will be like, what the fuck, you made that?
It's so cute.
And it was so thoughtful. And it was like you were saying how, like, you hadn't listened to Ghost before that. And now, like, you were, and I think she said the same thing, that she was like, I was like I hadn't really gotten into any, like, newer rock stuff, and I missed that feeling. And then I felt it with Ghost. So, like, I love that we all feel that together. So
I love that a lot.
I just wanted to shout you out because that was really thoughtful and really awesome. And you literally made my year with it. So
I wish you could have seen Elena's face when she opened that package. She goes,
true
somebody
joy.
made me a Papa doll.
I was like, it's Papa. So thank you so much for that, Corey. And I hope that your shit gets just like rocked in the best way right now.
Yeah.
And I hope you can't crochet enough to, I hope it just blows up. So you're awesome. And go check out Alternative Hippie.
Or else,
okay?
We don't know what else.
What else, but I don't know.
But that's it.
Either way, we're going to get into the story now of Half-Hanged Mary.
Oh.
Of Hadley, Massachusetts.
Oh, shit. Hadley, Massachusetts?
Yeah. Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Massachusetts really had a time.
Yeah, we fucked up a lot.
We fucked up.
Yeah. I'm going to say they. Because, like, they fucked up our people.
Yeah.
Like, the people doing the fucked up things, that's not a we thing.
No, I mean, I was not there.
Yeah, no.
Like, I may be the elder on this podcast, but I was not present during these. So I will say that.
That was a missed opportunity for a good joke on my part, so thank you for walking yourself right
No
into
problem.
that.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for you to be like, you were there, right?
I try not to do, like, too much
wasn't.
elder abuse to you.
It's okay. It's all right. I feel okay about it. But I think we can all agree that there are very few examples of mass hysteria that loom larger than the Salem witch trials of 1692.
100%.
I mean, over 200 people were persecuted during that. 19 were executed.
So crazy. It's so sad.
And it was all for crimes that nobody had actually committed. But everybody ran with it. And for centuries, it has served as a very important, but often ignored, warning against groupthink, against intolerance, all that fun stuff. Once again, often ignored. We'd love to believe we're past that, but,
Yeah.
we're really not.
I thought of a great idea. We should make sweatshirts that say fuck Ann Putnam.
Oh, 100% because fuck Ann Putnam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Noted.
For sure. But it was definitely not the only example of witch hunting in Massachusetts, for sure. And in fact, 10 years before the Salem witch trials, there were very similar accusations of witchcraft that were aimed at Mary Webster of Hadley, which was another small village in Massachusetts. It's in like western Massachusetts.
Yeah, I don't think I realized Hadley was like that old of a place.
Yeah.
I mean, every place in Massachusetts is pretty fucking old. Yeah.
It's old. But by the time the Massachusetts Bay Colony was established in 1630, the existence of witches and, witchcraft and dark magic and all that had been a very prominent source of anxiety and hysteria over in Europe.
Right.
And that was for nearly like 2 centuries that was going on. So that was nothing new.
You covered some of the ones in Europe, didn't you?
We did. We covered maybe 1 or 2, I think. We'll definitely cover some more because it really is fascinating. But although fears of witchcraft had existed in cultures around the world long before, beginning in the late 15th century, public fears and public accusations of witchcraft, largely spurred by the Catholic Church at the time, led to a centuries-long period of witch hunts across Europe that led to the executions of not 19, which is bad enough, tens of thousands of innocent people.
That's crazy.
So because there was such a prevalence of fear and black magic and witchcraft at that time, it makes sense that the earliest colonial settlers in Massachusetts Bay Colony would bring all those fears, anxieties, superstitions, all of that stuff to their new home, too.
They're like, let's bring all of this fuck shit right on over.
Let's not start with a clean slate. Let's just bring it all over.
Never that.
So when the first laws were enacted in the colony in 1641, the General Court included a common law statute that quoted directly from Scripture. And it established, quote, if any man or woman be a witch, that is, hath or consulteth with a familiar spirit, they shall be put to death.
When you truly think about that, like, if you're a witch, we gonna kill you.
That's why
it's crazy.
When people say, I'm not really interested in witch trials, it's like, you're not? Like that,
I don't get it.
Of that being, those were laws. Like that was put into law.
It's wild.
If you consulteth with a familiar spirit.
They basically said, if you have a cat.
Yeah, if you have an animal that sometime is seen around you,
you're fucked.
We're going to kill you.
That's
because we think you're
means.
Consulting with the devil.
Wild.
Law.
Wild.
Law.
Men.
Like it's just
Men.
so...
That's the problem. Men.
Unfortunately,
Sorry,
it was
y'all.
a lot back then. Now, with laws in place that were literally criminalizing witchcraft and consorting with the devil, it didn't take long for colonial settlers to make good use of them. We're not going to let those laws just sit on those books.
They're like, no, let's do this.
No, they can't get dusty. We got to use them. So in 1648, 35-year-old Margaret Jones, who was a Charlestown midwife and practitioner of medicine, was like herbal medicine and stuff,
yeah, of course.
Was very much accused of witchcraft and put on trial. Little documentation from her trial has really survived today, but the diary of Governor John Winthrop, who sat on the general court at the time of the trial, does show some of the evidence that was used to convict Margaret.
I remember that name, John Winthrop.
Yeah. The evidence included the fact that, quote, she was found to have such a malignant touch as many persons, men, women, and children, whom she stroked or touched with any affection or displeasure, and some things which she foretold come to pass accordingly. Other things she would tell of as secret speeches, which she had no ordinary means to come to the knowledge of. So basically she's saying like, they're saying like people got sick after she was around them sometimes, and she knew things.
Maybe she was a little
before I
clairvoyant.
did.
Right.
And it's like, I don't know John Winthrop.
It's like, I think you're just a
I don't know
man,
about
John.
that. His journal also says that Jones's disposition during the trial was also used as additional evidence against her. It says Jones was very intemperate, lying notoriously and railing against the jury and witnesses.
Gee, I wonder why.
And he wrote, in simple terms, Margaret Jones's unwillingness to be deferential and demure during what basically was most certainly a fight to keep herself from being hanged for nothing.
Literally nothing.
Was considered by this puritanical society to be proof that she was consorting with the devil. So because she wasn't demure on the stand and sitting there and going, well, I guess if you say I did it, I suppose I have to admit it. Sure, mister. Why? Yep, I absolutely did that. Because she didn't do that, they were like, the devil.
It's also like she's on trial for doing her job, it sounds like.
Which you
like
all
a lot
took
of these
advantage of
women.
for a little while until you decided that you wanted to rally against her.
That you were bored because you couldn't do anything in those times, so you're just going to make her a witch.
That's the thing. Now, Margaret Jones was the first person in Massachusetts and just the second in the colonies to be tried and executed for witchcraft. And the fact that she was a woman was definitely not coincidental.
No, never.
She was a midwife, a practitioner of medicine, like we said before. And she likely, because of those things, like we just kind of touched upon, she definitely held a little bit of power in the community. You know, that those kind of resources, that kind of expertise, that was pretty specific. It was not in big supply in the colonies at that point. So she was going to be looked at as someone to turn to. It was kind of in the case of Bridget Cleary we talked about, how, you know, the guy who was looked at as the powerful elder who had all this knowledge of folklore and shit, he held power at one point. And then when he didn't, everything changed.
He made it come back.
Now, and also, she used local herbs and other non-traditional medicines. You know, people started looking at that as suspect.
Of course.
Especially, they only looked at it really when it was suspect when their treatments didn't work. When their treatments worked, suddenly you're a great doctor and midwife and all that good stuff. But when it didn't work, you're a witch.
And also sometimes like medicine doesn't work.
Yeah, sometimes you're just going to die.
Right.
I don't know what to tell you.
Sometimes that's just the way it is, okay?
Now, 8 years later, that same community tried and executed a woman named Ann Hibbins for similar things. Nonsensical, we don't like her. She's not this demure little wilting flower that we would like her to be.
Exactly.
Because remember, in Salem, that seemed to be a lot of the shit. These women would speak out and speak up against things. They would speak up for themselves. They would speak up for their families, for all that stuff.
It was like, shut up.
And they were like, shut the fuck up, witch. And it's like, okay, yeah. Well, like, we all see it. We all see it.
Yep.
But apparently, in one of the sources that I'm going to link in the show notes, Bridget Marshall, the author, points out witchcraft accusations were actually fairly common during this period in the colonies. Every town seems to have had at least one official accusation, and no doubt many more had local legends and suspicions. So it was definitely one of those things where there was official accusations, which would go to the higher authorities, go on trial, all that stuff. But you know, it was one of those things where they were like, that lady's a witch.
That lady
there.
down the street who lives by herself because everyone she loved has died. She's a witch.
Exactly. And again, they like the accusations were common. But at this point, convictions and executions, I don't know why that was so hard to say, they were less common at the time.
Right.
Like you could bring it to a point, but getting a conviction and executing that person was going to take a little more. But this was also due to the fact that, you know, they were recently established communities. Removing someone who was like a medicine woman, as much as you're claiming that's witchcraft and shit, removing anyone from these communities is kind of disadvantaging. You know, that it's really becoming a disadvantage for that community at this time because they really only have a handful of people to begin with.
They need to establish themselves first and then they can fuck you over later.
Yeah, so it's going to fuck this accused witch over, but it's definitely going to fuck everyone else over too. So they were very aware of that. I think a lot of times these things were more of a shame you into compliance and submission kind of thing. So we don't have to take it to the conviction and execution stage. We're just going to make sure you know that you will become ostracized and we can bring you in.
If you speak out against us.
So like just listen to what we say, become submissive, and we'll leave you alone.
Well, and going back to them like not being fully established yet, I'm sure some of these women were like the first midwives in their village. And then when they like got more and more of them, they were like, oh, now we can fuck with that one that we don't like because we like this one better because she listens to what we say.
Exactly. It's like, but when they're the only ones, they were just dealing with it.
Right.
The Sherwin-Williams summer sale is here. Get 30% off select paints and stains or 35% off their newest product, Emerald Symmetry, July 17th through the 27th. Whether you're looking to refresh your interior or your exterior, they've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders. Getting paid twice a month doesn't mean money is scarce. It just feels that way. That feeling makes you do weird stuff, like putting things on a card you didn't need to. Earnin removes that feeling. With Earnin, you can access up to $150 per day of money you've already earned, plus up to $1,000 between paychecks. Standard transfers take 1 to 2 business days with no mandatory fees, and expedited transfers start at $3.99 and cap at $5.99. 5 million people are already on it, and honestly, it's wild it didn't exist sooner. Download Earnin on the App Store or Google Play, spelled like earning money without the G. Type in Morbid under podcast when you sign up. It'll really help the show. Earnin is a financial technology company, not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Standard cash outs take 1 to 2 business days with no mandatory fees. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Tips are voluntary and don't affect the service. Available in select states. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details. Every good detective needs a partner to support them on important cases. Think of a State Farm agent like your sidekick, there to help you along the way in your search for coverage. State Farm can help you choose the coverage you need, whether it's for your home, car, boat, or even RV. With so many options, it's nice knowing you have help finding what fits for you so you can get back to solving all of life's bigger cases. Go to statefarm.com or use the award-winning app to connect with a local agent and get a quote. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Now, like we know now, the reasons why a person would have been accused of witchcraft were very varied and almost always completely irrational. Petty arguments, overactive imaginations, just puritanical shit. Mm-hmm. I don't like your face, so I would like you to be gone from my view kind of shit. Like, it was all just very, haphazard. If I don't like this person, I can accuse them of it.
So scary.
Like, for example, this is a very interesting one, the case of Mary Parsons, who was a Northampton woman accused of witchcraft by her neighbor in 1656. Mary and her husband Joseph Parsons had moved to Northampton from Springfield.
Okay.
So they were already very much outsiders in this newly formed community, because remember, it's all brand new. Mm-hmm. So immediately, the community was a-talking. As soon as 2 people come in from anywhere else, you're going to be the target. Mary also had a son who was actually the first English child born in town. So that was another thing that was already going to stir up some crazy gossip. And then the Parsons were also of a higher social class, and they had a lot more wealth than their neighbors. So there was a lot of jealousy already off the bat. They are batting 0. Now, one day, not long after they came to Northampton, a neighbor named Sarah Bridgman received a knock at her door. She was holding her infant son when she came to answer the door, and she said no one was there, but then she saw 2 cloaked figures pass by, and she became convinced that her child would die. Sarah Bridgman's an asshole, just so you know.
I answered the door and no one was there, so I thought my baby was going to die.
Yeah.
That's a leap.
Seems legit.
That's a leap and a half, girlfriend.
The child did die a short time later, which is very unfortunate.
Of course.
And Sarah became convinced that the death was caused by Mary Parsons.
And not just like the old-timey of it all.
Apparently, since she had arrived in the village, Bridgman and Parsons did not get along. They had feuded right off the bat. Which it's like, all right, Sarah, sometimes bitches aren't going to like you. And that's just the way it is. Like, move on.
That doesn't mean that they're a witch and that they killed your kid.
And you don't have to involve yourself in their life. Just move the fuck on. If you don't like someone, walk away. Toxic person, walk the other way. Like, just leave, okay? But no, we've got to make this a bigger problem. We've got to make it everybody's problem. And honestly, it's going to become your problem, bitch.
Uh-oh.
So so they'd been feuding ever since the Parsons had arrived. And Bridgman spent months telling anyone who would listen that Parsons was a witch and that it was her fault. And finally, Joseph Parsons, Mary's husband, was like, fuck you, and decided to file a complaint of slander on his wife's behalf. Because That's a bad bitch move, especially for a husband back then.
That's a husband.
He was like, don't talk shit about my wife. Like, fuck you, Sarah.
But that is probably not good that he brought this to court, because I feel like that's where it's all going to get crazy.
That's the thing. It was very proactive of him.
Of course.
And it was pretty badass of him.
Totally.
For sure. I support Joseph. I am here supporting him.
We stand
Team
with
Joseph. But like you said, not great because of how shitty the system was. It was great in all other ways, not great because of how shitty everybody else was. Because by bringing those accusations to the attention of the authorities before, it was like we were saying before. It was like shit talking.
Right.
It was shit talking among the community. It wasn't taken to the official level. But now it's happened. It's gotten brought to the authorities. They know that people are talking.
Oh, and this poor man was only trying to help his wife.
He was trying to defend his wife.
He probably regretted that every day.
And so it was brought to court.
No.
Sarah, when she explained it, she said there was a great blow at the door. And I was like, what?
Sorry, what?
And she immediately said she sensed a difference in her newborn as soon as that great blow at the door happened.
Okay.
And she said immediately, I was sure my child would die. And I was like, I don't know. I feel like that's someone you should talk about with someone else, because I don't think that was Mary. And she said it was because there was wickedness in place.
Wow.
This is real. I just need, this is why these kinds of trials.
Because it's insane.
In this time period are so fucking fascinating to me, because this was a legitimate criminal trial. And this woman just said, someone knocked on my door and my newborn got fussy. And so I knew he was going to die because wickedness was in place. Yeah. She said that in a legal trial. Yeah. And they went,
They said, that's wild.
They stroked their chins. Bitch. And they said, maybe we should hang this bitch.
It's scary.
That was real. That's fascinating to me. Terrifying.
They didn't have enough to do back then.
They sure didn't. Now, and that's the thing. They had enough to do, but and that's the thing. It's like they weren't bored. They were just miserable because it was miserable back then. And we'll get into it, but it's like, that's what it was. It's like
mind-numbing shit.
Yeah. And kids were bored. They're bored and miserable. Now, at the trial, a lot of people testified that Sarah Bridgman's child had actually been frail and sickly since birth. So they were
there's that on that.
So they were like, when the child died, unfortunately, it was very tragic, but not a surprise to a lot of people because he was born very sick.
That's sad.
But Bridgman stuck to her story that Parsons was a witch and had killed her child through her consortment with the devil.
And the wickedness of it all.
Then we had other people come into the trial saying, there was a yarn spinner that said the yarn she spun for Mary Parsons just ended up in knots no matter what she did. And she said that was obviously because she was a witch.
Maybe you just suck at spinning yarns.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe you're spinning a yarn right now.
I think you are.
See what I did there?
I do. Lies.
Liar.
And it's also it's just, so does the devil like knots?
I don't know about
is that what that's supposed to be? He just likes tying knots?
Yeah, I've never heard about that.
I'm not up on his likes and dislikes, but I didn't know that was one of them.
I haven't heard that in a ghost song, so I'm not so sure.
Did you see the protesters, everybody? You got to go on TikTok, the protesters at the Ghost concert. I think it was in Texas.
That checks.
Yeah. Funny. They brought out a Mary statue and everything. It's like, just let people
There were
live.
signs that said, I'm so sorry, Mary. And I was like, what?
What now?
I don't.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm not going to say too much.
Well, I'm like what you like, but that's the thing. Don't listen to the music if you don't like it.
Go home.
You don't have to partake in it. It's fine.
Well, people, I feel like everyone now is just like, they're indoctrinating our children for everything. And I'm like, just don't let your kid go to a ghost show then.
Yeah, it's like your kid isn't going to go to a ghost show unless you bring them to one.
Right.
So
unless they're sneaking out to it, but that's your fault. So
it's just ridiculous.
It's a little silly.
And honestly, ghost shows are fucking amazing. And the people at ghost shows are some of the nicest people I've ever been around.
So there.
At the ritual that we went to.
Is that what they call it, a ritual?
It's always called a ritual.
I don't think I even knew that.
Yeah, they call their shows rituals.
That's fun.
I love it.
That probably scares the people even more.
It does. At my ritual that we went to, we were loving the people in front of us. It was this couple. And don't worry, I'll get back to the story, I promise.
Yeah,
I know tangents piss some people off, but here I am. But I just got to tell you because it was lovely.
Yeah.
It was a couple in front of us, a man and a woman, and they were having the fucking time of their lives.
I love that.
And they were like so in love and just like dancing with each other and so happy. And I literally was like, just their vibe.
That's precious.
Was so happy. We all said it. Like we were all like, these people are lovely to just be around.
I love that.
It was delightful.
Love.
So like shout out to those two people in front of us because they were like turning to each other and like screaming the words to each other and just like dancing.
Just having a ball.
Oh, it was just so good. And the guy was so theatrical to every song. I was like, you're killing me.
It always like adds to the experience when you have people around like that.
And I met a lot of listeners at that show and they were really kind and awesome and it was really cool and you guys rule.
Hell yeah.
But go to a goat show. But either way, you know, the devil loves knots. Who knew?
Weird.
But things escalated as well when a woman named Mrs. Hannum, who was another yarn spinner, and she apparently worked with the Parsons before, she testified on Sarah Bridgman's behalf, saying that Parsons had, quote, attempted to lure her daughter away from her home.
What?
And it's like, what? And then another woman came and said her daughter got ill after she refused to let her daughter work for the Parsons. So she must have bewitched her
cast
out of spite.
Yes, of course.
And then a man came forward and testified and said, well, my cow got sick as fuck after I had some words with Mary Parsons, and then it died, and it's her fault.
I truly can't. The fact that they thought people just died because they had words with each other.
Well, and what's great about this one, I will say, is that the court was able to be like, debunked.
Okay, that's nice.
Debunk, because upon further questioning, it was very clear that Mrs. Hannum, the yarn spinner, had been feuding with Mary Parsons ever since Mary Parsons complained of the quality of her yarn. So she was just pissed because her little ego got bruised.
Because she had shitty yarn. Fuck your yarn.
And she saw this trial as an opportunity to get back at Parsons, which I'm like, people were fucking cutthroat back then.
She didn't like my yarn? Hang.
She didn't like my yarn. So my way of getting back to her is having her hang by her neck until she's dead.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
That's normal. Imagine living your life
after petty,
that.
But I'm not that petty.
Like, imagine standing in that crowd. You spun some yarn
you know
that sucked.
what you did.
And you just you're sitting there and you're like,
And you're like, well, she got hers,
shouldn't have said shit about my yarn.
Yeah. My yarn quality is top notch. It's like,
damn.
What the fuck? Like that's cold-blooded. Like people were cold-blooded. So yeah, she was just pissed about the quality of the yarn and she was like, cool, I'm offended. So I'm going to send you to be executed.
I'm offended. So.
And people also testified that Sarah Bridgman's baby, like they had said before, had definitely been sick since birth. So that was just not right. Under these circumstances, the court, and I think they found that the cow had died of a very normal cow thing that happens.
He was just old.
And I think it was actually the owner's fault. Like, it was like something he had done accidentally that had caused it.
Wow.
So the court ruled in favor of Mary Parsons.
Thank God.
We're actually told Sarah Bridgman, you are actually in trouble for lodging these false accusations now.
Oh, hell yeah.
So they said you can either pay Parsons court fees or you can issue a public apology.
I would say you have to do both.
And that petty little bitch was like, I'll pay the fees.
She wouldn't even
publicly apologize.
Wow.
Like, what a bitch.
People really were petty.
Like, such a bitch. But what's sad, though, is that although the slander trial may have come to an end, Bridgman kept spreading rumors about Parson being a witch, and they just kept going for, like, generations. And basically it undermined the Parsons family's social status and any political influence they had in the village for generations.
That's really sad.
She ruined their legacy, essentially.
That's
just
fucked.
because she didn't like her. Like, that's a petty bitch.
I hope she got hers. And she's living a bad life in the next one.
And this kind of shows you that although there was a genuine belief in witches and witchcraft, that's the thing. This wasn't only, I don't like this person, so I'm going to fake it. People genuinely believe that witches and witchcraft were like evil and that like they were these like, you know, the hook-nosed, like, you know, with the wart on the end of the nose kind of thing we see in all the media you see of a note, like they're green and that they have the, you know, the hat and that they're flying on a broom in the middle of the night, you know, like that kind of stuff. They definitely believed that, and especially in the Massachusetts Bay Colony. But it was also just as common for this to be the case, where it was, you know, consorting with the devil was basically, I'm being petty and I'm going to, you know, settle my petty grievance with you by pretending that you're consorting with the devil.
Right.
Now, getting on to Mary Webster, it kind of seemed like this was partially the case, is that people just didn't like her and she was an outsider, so they decided to make her consult with the devil fictionally as the case.
Fun.
So Mary Webster was born Mary Reeve. She was born in England circa 1624. And she was brought by her parents, Thomas and Hannah Reeve, to the Massachusetts Bay Colony. And she was brought there within a decade or two after her birth. So within her first 20 years, she was brought there.
All right.
A lot of these records are haphazard, so you just kind of have to piece everything together. But they settled in Springfield. Now, little is known about her early life, but she doesn't appear on record until 1670, and that's when she married 53-year-old William Webster of Hadley. So she relocated from Springfield to Hadley, and when that happened, often moving was a big deal.
Of course.
It set you back.
Yeah.
Back then. It sets anybody back anyways, but it really set you back then.
Well, people died on the way to move to a new place.
And the Websters were described as having become poor and living many years in a small house in the middle highway, and were sometimes aided by the town.
Okay.
So nobody's really sure what the definition of poor was back then, because things were so willy-nilly.
How bad it really was.
Yeah, but I think the fact that they were receiving aid from the town makes them down at the bottom of the ladder. You know what I mean? Yeah. So according to Sylvester Judd, who is an author and who wrote the town history of Hadley.
Oh, cool.
He said, Mary's temper, quote, which was not the most placid, was not improved by poverty and neglect, and she used harsh words when offended. Despised and sometimes ill-treated, she was soured with the world and rendered spiteful towards some of her neighbors. So here's the thing. The thing with Mary is that we see she's in poverty. She's having to get aid from the town. She's being treated as such because people are now treating her like shit. And it's so her neighbors are dicks to her and treat her like a piece of shit.
And she's supposed to be a ray of sunshine.
She was brought here from where she was born. And it's and she's supposed to be this fucking ray of sunshine for you and make you happy when you treat her like shit because of something completely out of her control, that she's dealing with poverty.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And they even said, because of her, quote, unpleasant demeanor, her neighbors started referring to her as a witch. And she quickly became a target for a lot of harassment. Now, soon rumors were spreading about Mary and that, she did this, she did that. She bewitched some cattle and horses so that they stopped and ran back and could not be driven by her house. In some cases, the rumors had a little bit of truth to them because Mary would try to keep farmers and travelers away from her house. And so she would overturn their loads sometimes.
That's
or
hilarious.
She would chase them away.
She was just get off my fucking lawn.
Well, she was like, you're all assholes to
you're
me.
Mean to me.
Stay away from my house. I don't blame her. Fuck you.
Well, and you have to wonder if something happened that she wanted them away from her house, because that seems like a kind of a jump,
because when you find out what they actually do to her and what is very normal, you're like, yeah, you were probably hurting her physically, you pieces of shit.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Now, in one instance, they claimed, and take what you will from this, they claimed that, quote, she entered a house and had such influence upon an infant on the bed or in the cradle that the infant was raised to the chamber floor and fell back again 3 times, and no visible hand touched.
Where were the owners of the home?
Yeah.
When she just
I'm like,
barged
I don't
in?
know. This looks like neglect of an infant or possibly abuse of an infant. And then they just blamed it on Mary Webster.
Like what?
Now, the rumors were growing and growing. And
apparently.
And so the community was now kind of biting back at Mary.
Oh.
So either way, the rumors are growing and growing. And in response to these rumors, the community is starting to get more and more, proactive in their response to her. So she became the target for what is called witch disturbances.
Oh, no. I don't like that already.
So apparently, the author I mentioned before, Smith, says that when farmers claimed they were unable to drive their cattle by Mary's house, they, quote, would enter the house, beat her, or threaten to do so, and then she generally let them pass.
Yeah, because they had beat her, so she was probably unable to stop them at that point.
So that was called a witch disturbance. They would just enter the suspected witch's home and beat the shit out of her to make her whatever was happening stop.
What the
And then they're always like, and these women were so unpleasant. And it's like, I would be the epitome of foul and rotten if I were this woman. I would ruin everyone's lives around me.
Do you ever just think, like, what are humans? Like, what are we?
I think it all the time.
Like, how did we get like this?
I think it all the time.
It's a lot.
I really do. So they would do that. That's why when they're like, oh, she would like knock over their loads and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I would fuck up their livelihood too. I'd be like, you literally came in my home and beat me.
So fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off.
Don't pass my house.
Yeah.
Getting scared is one thing. Getting a thrill is, well, you want more of those in your life. The Genesis GV70 is built to thrill, baby. A thrilling yet elegant design always makes driving the GV70 an exciting adventure. Its powerful athletic stance screams performance and turns heads. Everybody's looking at you, girl, or boy, or whoever. Command the road and experience a class-leading standard 300 horsepower. Oh my God. Plus, discover the different dynamic drive modes for all different terrains. Choose between the different terrain modes for whatever road conditions you may encounter. The Genesis GV70's award-winning technology and performance lets you drive with comfort and drive with confidence all at the same time. It's an exciting SUV with intuitive tech that can make your ride smooth even when the road isn't. And its blind spot cameras allow you to see what's next to you. It's like having eyes on the side of your head. That's pretty iconic. Its performance, by the way, is measured not only in power, but in how it makes you feel confident, sexy. The Genesis GV70. Learn more at genesis.com and feel the GV70.
Need a boost? Sometimes all it takes is tapping into your inner cool. Icebreaker's gum helps you unleash the confidence within. Each chew releases a rush of icy flavor powered by cooling flavor crystals, sending a wave of refreshment to reinvigorate all your senses. Icebreaker's convenient pack fits everywhere, from car cup holders to backpack pockets, so you can find your cool wherever you go. Grab Icebreaker's gum online or at a store near you.
This part of the show is brought to you by Anua, the Korean skincare brand known for scientific, gentle, yet effective formulations. The latest from Anua is the Retinol Collagen Gua Sha Cream, a firming cream with a gua sha-shaped tip built right in. Have you guys heard of gua sha? It's that viral massage tool that moves fluid and tension out of your face. Less puffiness, a snatched jawline, honey, more definition in your face. Retinol firms and reduces fine lines, and collagen keeps your skin plump and structured. This cream has both of those things, arguably the most optimal combo for that snatched, lifted look all in one step. I am obsessed with the Gua Sha cream. First of all, it feels so cool to the touch. When you put that on your face, it's just like, this is lovely. It's like a little spa treatment that you can give yourself. I like to do mine at night after I get out of the shower. I rub the cream on my face with the little gua sha. I'm sculpting that jawline, honey. I got it on the cheekbones. And actually, I had a facial the other day, and the lady doing my facial, the professional, she said, "Do you use a gua sha at home?" And I said, "I do." And I said, "How did you know that?" And she said, "I didn't have those little like bumps in my chin or like different areas like that." So she could tell that I was using the gua sha. And I said, "Oh my God." I just feel like I wake up less puffy in the morning when I do it the night before. But you can do it whenever you want to. I, 10 out of 10, recommend this product. The Anua Gua Sha Cream value set is available at anua.com, already discounted. Use code MORBID for an extra 10% off. That's ANUA.com, code MORBID.
Now, Judd, the author I mentioned before, who did the history of Hadley, described an incident in 1680 where a 16-year-old girl named Anne Belding was charged with, quote, purposes and practices against the body and life of Mary, wife of William Webster. So apparently, Anne entered the Webster's home and likely assaulted or attempted to assault Mary, and so she was required to publicly apologize and pay a fine. She had to pay £1 to Webster and £4 to the county for doing that.
Why didn't she spend time in jail, y'all?
Because they're just like,
they're like, just
say you're sorry.
The fuck?
So over time, the rumors about Mary Webster just grew. They grew. They became more. They became way more outlandish. way more detailed. They were coming from way more people. But there was one that proved a lot more consequential for Mary's safety than the other ones.
Oh, no.
So and you knew this was coming. You knew
did.
one of those was going to hit different, and it was going to be the breaking point.
I was worried.
So in the early 1680s, it was said that Mary entered the house of a neighbor.
Again?
And before she left the house, not long after she had left the house, a hen came flying down the chimney and fell into a boiling pot of water.
Okay.
To me, that just feels real colony-esque. I'm sure hens fell down chimneys all the time. Like, if I was back then, if you transported me, hi, I'm Elena from 2023. If you plopped me into 1680 or wherever this was, in one of these houses in the Massachusetts Bay Colony, and suddenly a hen fell down the chimney into a scalding hot thing of water, I don't think I would really, I'd be like, probably. Like, I think I would just look over and be like, yep.
You'd just be like, well, we're having chicken for dinner.
Yeah, I'd just be like, oh, is that how you guys would get your food? Like, how does this...
Is that from Santa?
That doesn't seem wild to me. I'm like, hens were probably all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
And they're probably just falling down chimneys and shit. It's not like our chimneys where it's like this very intricate system.
Yeah, no, it doesn't sound that crazy to me.
It's just a hole in your roof. It's just going to fall down. So to me, I'm like, yeah, okay, like dinner. But no, because... apparently that was a little strange that a hen just fell down the chimney, which I think is wild.
I do too. I feel like I agree. I don't think it'd be that weird.
I don't think it was. I think they're just using that. But the real strange thing was that Mary was discovered to have a scald mark on her body in the same place that the hen had.
I guarantee someone probably broke into her house, beat her, and burned her.
Probably. Or it's like, I don't know, they were cooking over straight up bonfires back then. Like,
yeah,
I'm sure everyone got burned all the fucking time by just doing the simplest of tasks.
Probably.
Like, I'm sure there was all kinds of burns.
But did they make this like a witch mark?
Well, what they assumed was, that because it's in the same place as the hen, that Mary had been acting in the form of a familiar to spy on her neighbors. So they are claiming she was the hen.
They're claiming Mary transformed herself into a hen and said, let me yeet myself down the chimney into a boiling pot of water.
Burn my booty in some hot water.
And then she lived? Okay.
Because that's the other thing. Here's my other question here, but we don't have it on record. So I would like to ask this neighbor from beyond, what the fuck's up, Kyle? Because this hen fell down your fucking chimney into a scalding thing of water.
I think it died.
And you didn't eat that hen.
Oh, they ate that hen.
You're telling me you just let that hen go?
No, they ate that hen.
We're in the Massachusetts Bay Colony in 1680, and you're letting free fucking dinner waddle out of your house? I think so.
Not.
I don't think so.
You sure about that?
You sure about that?
You
I
sure
don't think
about
you
that?
are. I think you ate that for dinner, and then you're sitting here claiming that it was Mary Webster? I don't think so.
So you ate Mary Webster's
But how's she
for
walking
dinner?
around if you ate her? It doesn't make sense.
This whole thing is truly the most.
That's when I'm like, no one was logical back then. Or you know what? Here's the thing. I bet here's the thing. I bet there were some logical people in there, but they were zipping their fucking lips because they didn't want to be the next one accused or be thought to be consorting with the devil.
That was the thing.
So it's one of those things, they just stayed quiet and let it happen. And it's like, so we look back and we're like, are you all like just cuckoo? Like, what is going on? No one stepped in and was like, well, did you eat the hen? Like, no one asked that.
Yeah.
Did you eat said hen that fell and burned their booty in the water?
Did you eat the booty burned hen?
Like, you didn't let that thing leave.
No, of course not. Why waste a good hen?
Exactly. In 1680, hell yeah. Now, in March 1683, Mary was brought before the county court in Northampton because of this. And she was accused of, quote, being under strong suspicion of having familiarity with the devil or using witchcraft.
What?
Color me guilty. But after hearing testimony from some of her neighbors, the county court looked at it and was like, you know what, these look like pretty strong accusations. It seems like everybody thinks you're kind of a bitch. So I think maybe we should look into this further. So they referred it to the Court of Assistance in Boston for consideration.
Oh, no.
Yeah. They looked at this like, I don't know, it seems like you might have been that hen. And then they were like, and these people say that you suck. So I think we should.
Just the fact that they're like, We think you were that hen.
Yeah.
Wrap your mind around that.
You have a burn mark on you, so I'm pretty sure you were that hen that flew down the chimney. They definitely ate for dinner that night.
I must go.
Like, I just don't know. And in April, by the way, Mary Webster is 60 years old.
Oh.
Now, in April, Mary Webster, 60 years old, is shipping up to Boston.
But not in the fun way.
Dropkick Murphys
not
style.
Like that, though.
Where she was held in a local jail cell waiting her trial for witchcraft. She was held there for a month.
Oh my God, and you can only imagine the conditions.
Think of the worst conditions you can ever imagine. That's what jail was back then.
Times 10.
Yeah, and that's what they would have you wait in for your witchcraft trial that you were placed on trial for because assholes didn't like you.
I truly can't.
And couldn't mind their own fucking business and just stay to their own shit. They had to get in your shit.
This is so sad. Now, I didn't realize she was 60, and that adds so much more sadness
she should have been
to it.
Happily just, she should have been happily just being kind of curmudgeonly.
Yeah.
Like just let her live.
She's a victim of circumstance.
Also, just leave her the fuck alone. Don't interact with her.
Don't pass her house.
She's not trying to hang out with you.
I mean, according to them, she really was. She really wanted to go into people's houses a lot. She's just like, maybe that's the thing. Maybe she just wanted a fucking friend.
Maybe she did, and everyone was just being a dick.
Barged in like, let's hang.
Maybe she just needed some social cues. That's all.
Yeah.
Now, again, sat for a month in jail, and then her trial began on May 22nd, 1683, and was heard by Governor Simon Bradstreet and 9 of his fellow, powerful men. Now, after hearing the charges, they said, seems pretty reasonable. I think we should take this to trial.
Seems pretty reasonable that you became a hen.
Yeah. And then they said, we should take this to trial. And there was an indictment written up, and the indictment read, the grand jury being impaneled, they, on perusal of the evidences, returned that they did indict Mary Webster for that she, not having the fear of God before her eyes. That's always my favorite part of it.
She's not afraid of God.
You don't have the fear of God in you, so you must be an evil piece of shit that we need to kill. And it's like, huh?
Why do people still feel that way?
Not having the fear of God before her eyes, and being instigated by the devil, hath entered into covenant and had familiarity with him in the shape of a warniage, which is a fisher or wild black cat of the woods, and had his imps sucking her, and teats or marks found on her.
They love
a teat.
They love a teat, and they love an imp sucking.
Oh, they love it.
Ew.
That's the thing. I'm like, look inside of yourselves.
Yeah.
Look inside. I'm not going to kink shame here, but like look inside of yourselves and just like come to grips with what you're really focused on.
You guys should just start writing fan fiction about Mary Webster, I think.
Listen to some you know what? If we had like book talks, like fairy smut books rolling around that Rune Dannon. If we had that back then, I think everybody would have been okay. They would have sat in their houses, read some fairy smut, gotten their shit together, and come out into the world and been a little less wound up.
I think
That's all I'm saying.
To be clear, Elena's the one reading the fairy smut. She just showed me the song. I don't know anything about Rune other than that he's the crown prince.
I'm going to read the Crescent City book because
Crown Prince.
I don't know. I haven't even gotten to him yet.
No, but the song.
Rune
Crown
Dannon,
Prince
Crown Prince of the, is it the Valgarin or Valgarin Fae? Yes. I haven't gotten to them yet, so. But I'm reading Crescent City, though. I've been sucked into it. But they need some fairy smut. So teats, marks on her, all that good stuff.
Yay.
And by several testimonies may appear, contrary to the peace of our sovereign lord, the king, his crown and dignity, the laws of God and his jurisdiction, the court on their serious consideration of the testimonies did leave her to further trial.
I gotta go.
Nonsense.
I must go.
She spent another week sitting in a Boston jail and then was brought back before the Court of Assistance on June 1st, where she was formally tried. And there is one piece of documentation from that trial that we can look at that says, Mary Webster was now called and brought to the bar and was indicted, to which indictments she pleaded not guilty, making no exception against any of the jury, leaving herself to be tried by God and the country. The indictment, I'm like, he doesn't try, though. Like, you guys have to try her.
Yeah, like, where is he at?
The indictment and evidences in the case were read and committed to the jury, and the jury brought in their verdict that they found her not guilty.
Okay. I didn't see that coming.
She was acquitted. She was acquitted of the charge of witchcraft.
Not
Mary
for long,
Webster
I'm sure.
returned to Hadley, and all was supposed to be great. But you know what? It was her neighbors that were pissed. The court acquitted her. They weren't going to bring her back in.
But they weren't done
But the
yet.
neighbors were pissed. Now, when Mary Webster was first accused of witchcraft and brought before the county court, among the men who examined her and considered the evidence against her was Philip Smith, who was a local judge and a deacon for the town of Hadley.
Okay.
In his later accounts of the story, Cotton Mather, who everybody remembers, Cotton Mather, that should have like some kind of reverb on it, like scary reverb.
In your
Cotton
brain,
Mather.
it does.
It's
like Mather.
Yeah, it's just there's some evil in there.
I don't like it.
He describes Smith as follows: Mr. Philip Smith, a man of about 50 years, a son of eminently virtuous parents, a deacon of a church at Hadley, a member of our general court, a man of their county court, a selectman for the affairs of the town, a lieutenant in the troop, and which crowns all, a man for devotion and gravity, and all that was honest, exceedingly exemplary. You can stop sucking his dick now. Because you know what? Cotton Mather likely never met this man. Just want to put that out there.
Really loved him.
He likely never met Philip Smith, but because Philip Smith was down to get some witches,
he loved
hanging by some ropes, Cotton Mather was like, what a fucking virtuous gift to our entire planet this man is. And it's like, settle the fuck down, Cotton.
Take all of the seats,
settle
please.
The fuck down. And by the way, speaking of Cotton Mather, I think I might take another look at the Salem witch trials and kind of like revamp our series on it, because
I would love that.
I've read more into it and I have more to say. So
there's always more to say with Elena Urquhart.
Yeah, it's happening.
I love it.
So he shit his dick about Philip Smith, even though he'd never met this man ever, did not know what kind of man he was.
So strange.
But, despite Mary Webster being acquitted of the charge of witchcraft, which was no easy feat.
No.
And this was a court in Boston, so this was a big court.
She probably knew that this wasn't even the end of it.
Oh, yeah. Philip Smith maintained that she was a witch, she was in league with the devil. He would not be convinced she wasn't. And that's why Cotton Mather loved him. He wasn't going to give up.
Right.
Beginning in January 1864, apparently Philip Smith's health began ailing a little bit, and it was very obvious. It wasn't like
Mary's fault?
And they said he showed such weakness from the weariness of the world that he knew not. He said whether he might pray for his continuance here. So he wasn't even going to pray to live.
Okay.
Because he was so weary of the world.
I mean,
and that's what Cotton Mather had written, by the way.
But he didn't know him.
He didn't know him.
Got it.
But basically what he was saying was that, his righteous spiritual battles with evil were just taking its toll on him. And he was wow. Like this man.
Wow.
This man is on his deathbed because he's just been fighting this righteous war with the devil so hard. And he doesn't even know if he wants to stay here anymore because it's just been too hard.
This is making my head hurt.
And I'm like, I don't know. I think it's just the 1600s. And he's dying of things you die of in the 1600s.
Probably.
And also, when you're that fucking wound up about everybody all the time, yeah, you're probably going to die sooner because your shit is all rocked inside. So, like...
You should calm down.
Calm down. Eat a moon pie.
Stop
Quit murdering people. Quit hanging truly. Now, like the court records that have since, really been lost to time at this point.
Of course.
There's not a lot of documentation about Smith's illness, but according to Bridget Marshall, in the time leading up to his death, the decline of his physical health and body was accompanied by a lot of emotional and mental issues as well. He had fits of delirium, and they would definitely frighten everybody around him, like his nurses, anybody that was watching over his bedside. I'm sure it was terrifying. I mean, that would be scary now, even with all we know. But back then, that's what the witch trials basically where it started from.
Well, and that kind of happens at the end of your life.
I mean,
in certain
any
cases,
number of things can happen at the end of your life. Nobody goes out the same way.
No.
It's like that's, and back then, you looked at fits and delirium as being magical. Like they were spurned by something evil.
Meanwhile, it was probably just his body shutting down.
Yeah,
and,
it's just
seeing
biological
shit.
processes. But to a puritanical society that was very deeply entrenched in legends and superstitions and religious doctrine.
God.
And Marshall points out, the author, the very visible struggle he endured with his illness no doubt appeared to the Puritan audience as a fight with the devil. And with Cotton Mather writing that this is his righteous battle with the devil that is killing him, it's just compounding.
That's so wild that they were like,
Yeah.
he's
just
duking
fighting
it
the
out
devil.
with the devil.
Yeah, this isn't just illness. This is him literally in a cage match with the devil.
Wow.
Now, in his delirium, he would rant, like Philip Smith would rant a lot. He would ramble. He was very incoherent, this, there, and everywhere. We've all, if you've loved someone that's been at the end of their life, you know, there can be some moments where you're like, I have no idea where you are right now, but you're telling me about it.
Right.
And again, a lot of local people and his neighbors found that they were thinking this was him being possessed. And this was the effects of black magic, not anything biological.
No, never.
Now, because Smith had been one of the most like loud and aggressive proponents of Mary Webster's guilt, even after her acquittal, many of the men in town concluded that Webster must be to blame for this illness.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah. They said this is definitely revenge for his having tried to bring her to justice. And, you know, this is all her. This is like he's being the target, and after him, you better believe the next person on the list is going to be someone else involved in the trial.
That's ridiculous.
And the longer his illness went on, the stranger and more wild the stories of his symptoms became. One of the most absurd things that was stated, like officially about it, was that in his sick room, they claimed that medicines had been emptied by unseen hands and that a fire mysteriously appeared under his bed and then stopped.
Was he burned?
I was like, I feel like you should be looking in at him if fires are starting under his bed.
When a fire starts to burn.
Like, what's going on there?
What the fuck?
Now, according to our pal Cotton Mather's account of it,
That is not my pal.
Who again very much believed that Webster was to blame. Apparently they decided to test this theory that Mary was to blame. People in the town came to Mary's home and decided to do a witch disturbance on her because remember, if they think you're fucking around, they can just come and beat the shit out of you.
God.
So Cotton Mather wrote an account of this, even though he was not there by all accounts.
Again.
Some of the young men in the town being out of their wits at the strange calamities, thus upon one of their most beloved neighbors, went 3 or 4 times to give disturbance unto the woman this thus complained of. And all the while they were disturbing of her, which, by the way, him writing disturbing of her, remember what we're saying here. He's saying all the while these men came in and beat the shit out of a 60-year-old woman in her home. All the while they were beating the shit out of a 60-year-old woman at her home, he was at ease, Philip Smith, and slept as a weary man. These were the only times they had perceived him to take any sleep in all his illness.
While everyone was beating the shit out of an elderly woman. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad he rested easy during that period.
But it's her who's consorting with the devil.
Like, y'all.
You're telling me the only time this man got sleep was when a elderly 60-year-old woman, because that's elderly back then.
Yeah.
It's not elderly now, so don't come for me. But back in the
No, and I said it
1600s,
first.
that was, you were past your point of like, damn, look at you.
You were,
Like,
you were
wise
a
as
wise
fuck.
one.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But they're beating a 60-year-old woman.
This is so upsetting.
And he's sleeping soundly like a
He's just
fucking
like-
baby, but she's the one consorting with the devil. My God, everybody.
He's just living on his
gods.
deathbed.
Like, let's just look at what's happening here. But nobody's going to speak up. But again, it was very, very long believed that to stop a witch from, furthering any harm she was doing through magic or her spells was to physically restrain or stop her in some way.
Oh my God.
And when Philip Smith finally died from his illness on January 10th, 1685, a group of young men set upon Mary Webster at her home. They dragged her from her house and they hung her from a tree by her neck.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Now, at this time, the gallows and trapdoor had not been invented yet. So it is very likely, and really the only way, that they just hanged her from a tree and allowed her to strangle.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I told you, this is a rough one.
Holy shit.
She lost consciousness, and when she was no longer moving, they cut her down. They rolled her body in the snow for some time, and then they finally buried her in the snow and left her for dead.
I am
Yeah.
without words.
Yeah. So what we've seen here is that obviously the men of Hadley, it was only men who did this, by the way.
That checks.
The men of Hadley were obviously disappointed by the Boston's court decision and certain that Mary was guilty. So they decided to enact mob justice, and they figured they could just get rid of Mary Webster, and that this gave them reason. Once Philip Smith died, it was her fault. They felt validated.
Picturing that in your head, they broke, I'm sorry, I'm not over this yet. They
as you shouldn't be.
into her home, dragged her out, probably hanged her from a tree on her own fucking property.
Probably.
And then rolled her and buried her in the snow. Mm-hmm. So she'd probably likely died of hypothermia, among other things.
Well, you know, it came to a big surprise to the men that when they came back, she didn't die.
What?
She was still alive.
What a bad bitch.
Yep. And what's even better is that Mary Webster lived another 11 years before dying of natural causes in 1969 at around the age of 70 or so.
That's my girly right there.
Mary Webster said, fuck
y'all.
you.
She said, Dave's yegs.
It's literally like she
said, fuck y'all.
Fuck y'all. She said, fuck y'all.
Dave's yegs.
She said, Philip Smith, won't be seeing you for a while. Bye.
Holy cannoli. I did not see that one coming.
Cotton Mather must have shit his dick.
Oh, and on that day.
Those men, what I wouldn't give to be now and travel back there with just like an iPhone so you could just like record all their reactions and then pop back here and be like, check out these fuckers.
Assholes.
Like, you know, they all, like, some of them cried.
Oh my God. But it's like amazing that she was able to live that long, and I'm so happy. But one, to go through that, and who knows where it ended. I'm sure people were still breaking into her house and fucking with her
after that. But I'm like, fuck yeah, good for you living out the rest of your fucking days and being like, fuck all you.
Y'all be damned.
Like, damn.
Wow.
Mary Webster.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. So, you know, the colonial witch trials up to and including those in Salem were definitely about power.
Yeah.
A lot of it. Obviously, there were some cases like Sarah Bridgman and Mary Parsons that were just jealousy, petty shit, grievances. But they were fueled by a religious body as well that sought to use superstition, misogyny at the time, and great fear of the unknown to maintain their stronghold on the colonies. That's it. So again, it goes right back to power and the end of everything.
And
keeping everyone in line.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody, they don't want anyone speaking out against, they believe this, so you're going to believe it, and you're going to shut the fuck up if you don't.
Nope.
This was particularly true for our guy, Cotton Mather, who was one of the loudest and most aggressive proponents of the witch hunts in all of the colonial era. Now, in 1689, he actually published the account of Philip Smith's illness and death, and he named Smith specifically, but he did not name Mary Webster. He wouldn't name her.
I wonder why.
He used the account to, among other things, promote the righteousness and virtuousness of Smith and his efforts, his righteous efforts to rid Hadley of witchcraft. And he also kept promoting the belief that the colony as a whole was just lousy with witches and practitioners of black magic. And again, it's important to remember, like I said earlier, Cotton Mather was not a resident of Hadley. And it's unlikely that he had ever been there before. And he definitely didn't know Philip Smith.
Or Mary Webster.
So what the fuck is get out of everybody's business, bitch?
He's a busybody. He's the definition of a busybody.
He didn't know Mary. He didn't know Philip Smith. He's never been to Hadley. What are you doing?
Right.
And of course, he did include some documented facts about the case in his account, but a lot of what he wrote was just biased, fictionalized shit. Just bullshit, and very much just like preaching what he wanted to preach.
Of course.
He wasn't trying to give a historical account of something that happened. He wanted something that would boost his argument in favor of witch hunting. And unfortunately, it worked. Mm-hmm. Because as we know, just a few years later, in 1692 and 1693, stories like that of Smith and Webster were used as supporting arguments for the outrageously barbaric witch trials in the village of Salem. And it actually, again, it ended up being that it was a government-sanctioned murder of 19 people. Which, like, when you really think of that, it's just
like your brain can't even.
And most of them were young women who were guilty of literally nothing, but couldn't defend themselves because it was just this hysteric, frenzied mob of people that were brought to that point by men like Cotton Mather,
who were just like insane.
Like,
There's
we just
no
let
other
this
way to say
group
it.
of assholes just
run shit,
create hysteria, and then it's like, then these little girls who were fucking bored, and everybody just decided that's what it was. These little girls who are fucking bored and nasty, cruel little fucks, and then these men who were trying to, you know, boost this argument anyway, saw that and said, "Perfect, we can use this." It's like it all worked together. Just a bunch of assholes working together.
What a horrible time to be alive.
Truly. And when the witch trials came to an end in the spring of 1693, public hysteria had died down and order had started to be, you know, restored, because that was looked at even by them as like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
And the truth came to light that, you know, like, these young women were all the people, young women who had made the shit up about like the fits and being attacked and specters and all that shit, that they lied. They came forward and said, I made the whole thing up. I was bored. And the public reaction was fucking horror and revulsion. They couldn't believe what they had done. They were like, I can't believe we have been taken so easily by all this bullshit. How gullible have we been and how cruel have we been?
Like, damn, we suck.
To the point of murder. We've murdered young women because we were just easily led. But even after the order and sanity had been restored to Salem briefly, Cotton Mather and other those guys, that were part of this whole thing, some of the judges, some of the people that were into it,
like the higher up people
they
in
were
society,
still advocating for further witch hunts and trials just to try to get that control back over the community. Dumb. And luckily, it was kind of, at that point, they were kind of like ignored, and everybody was like, now you're an asshole.
You have to chill the fuck out, guys.
But, you know, it's, when you look back on it, you're like, wow, that's wild, and it blows your mind. But it's also, when you look at 17th century colonies, hysteria is not that wild to think about. Because when you think about it, colonial life was miserable.
Yeah.
It was incredibly difficult. Colonists often relied on that dichotomy of good and evil just to explain the hundreds of hardships and tragedies and oppression and awful shit that just fell into their laps on a normal daily basis.
Like their cows dying and hens coming through the roof and falling into boiling pots of water.
And that is truth. That is truth. That it was a shitty time. It was a shitty life. And they were just looking for something to believe in.
But
and
maybe
they were
it
using it.
Something else.
But we cannot take away that misinformation and the spread of it, and misogyny also played an incredible role in that. Like, incredible.
At the forefront, I would say.
And even in the Boston Globe in 1977, Hal Clancy wrote that he talked about the story of Smith and Webster, and he described Mary as, quote, in 1977, he described her as, quote, an aging spinster who wore rags, lived in a shack, and got by brewing love potions and peddling hexes. She claimed to possess an evil eye that could dry up a cow at a blink. Now, he made this article has like somewhat of a satire, a humorous tone to it, but it's got tons of factual inaccuracies in it, lies, and it also just completely perpetuates what started the witchcrafts in the first place.
Or the witch trials.
Learned nothing. I was like, that article just shows you, whoa, you just literally looked at that whole thing, you saw the lesson there, and you just perpetuated it.
Man.
Like, he literally says, basically his view of the history of that whole thing was the only plausible explanation for why Mary Webster's neighbors believed her to be a witch and literally hanged her after she was acquitted for it was because she portrayed herself as such. She did it by being an old spinster, by working with herbs and non-traditional shit, by not being a pleasant flower, by not, preaching whatever it is they wanted her to preach. Mm-hmm. She did it. Literally in 1977, this man is just learning zero. I was like, holy shit, Massachusetts.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
Like, Massachusetts is my girl. Like, I ride for her.
Massachusetts is my bee.
She's my bitch. I love her. I ride for her. I love Massachusetts.
We write it down for her.
But it's proof that some people did not learn from their own shit.
In
and it's like, get it together.
To be like, she was a fucking witch. I'm like, this is elderly abuse to like the highest level. And you're like, she was a fucking witch. She made love potions. I'm like, I don't think they worked.
And also it's like, she was a witch. They're basically just being like, I don't know, she portrayed herself as one, so.
She could dry up some cows.
And I'm like, okay, so should they have hung her from a tree?
And buried her in the snow?
Like, is that what you're saying?
You sure about that?
Like, you're not sitting here saying like, wow, this 60-year-old woman that was just like trying to live her life by herself, that people kept coming into her home and beating the shit out of her on a regular basis.
Don't act like a witch.
Don't act like a witch.
Like, damn, Hal.
Wow.
Damn. You would, like, that sounds like satire, but it does. That's the Boston Globe. Like, that's damn. Not.
Damn.
Wow,
damn,
Hal.
BG. But, yeah. Damn. So that's the story of Mary Webster and a couple of other witches, but witches, quote unquote.
Yeah, like, that was, I don't know. That was something. That was wild. And really upsetting. But the fact that she was like, fuck y'all.
I mean, it was like a triumph, but then it's like only a couple years later, we were like, and now for the Salem witch trials where it's going to be really bad.
My God.
But eventually, eventually.
Pouring out for all the witches out there, okay?
Yeah, truly. Damn.
Holy shit.
But yeah.
I'm just like shook that all of that happened. And then however many years later, he was like, yeah. Fuck her, right?
It's true. Fuck her, right? Yeah. So that's the story of half-hanged Mary. That's what she's referred to.
Woof.
Yeah.
Well, with that, we hope that you keep listening.
And we hope you
keep
it weird.
But not so weird that because what? Question mark?
Don't be stupid. Think critically, please.
Get a life. Think critically, please.
Talk about regrets. We all know someone who's been in a car accident and said, I don't need to call a lawyer, only to regret it after their pain and damages were worse than expected. When someone hurts you, you deserve to be compensated fairly. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm, fighting for the people for over 35 years. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com/podcast. That's forthepeople.com/podcast. Their fee is free unless they win.
Every wireless service comes with a cost, right? Wrong. The Text Now app lets you do your thing for free. Get real talk, real text, and 5G data for must-have apps with no monthly bill. Need more data? Add it right from the app. Done? Go back to free. No long-term contracts, no pressure, no surprises. Just wireless that works around you. Text Now. We've got your back. Download Text Now in your app store today. Wireless plans require the purchase of a SIM card. Visit textnow.com for terms and conditions.